Hello viewers, and today we are going to be testing out resin printing. Seeing as how I do not have a resin printer, all prints today come from our sponsor JLC 3DP. JLC 3DP is an online 3D printing service that works with all sorts of materials from nylon to resin to even metal. To find out more about them, check out the links in the description below.
You packaged this very nicely.
For those who are new to the channel, I do have a 3D printed optometry goods service online. I figured the best way to do a showcase for JLC 3DP's resin printing was to compare it to my filament prints of these products I'm selling on Etsy. In the sponsorship package, I have ordered 4 occluders, all made out of different material. As a bonus, I also ordered from JLC 3DP a different resin type printed elbow rest.
First up, we have a black pinhole occluder. This is very light, but still quite sturdy. A bit bendy, but all the same. Fit is excellent. Doesn't look like there's any supports used, but this was printed with resin, so I wasn't really expecting much support there as well. Back with my logo for the Instagram page is excellent. This is way better than what usually I get out of it. Let's see if I have an example here. So just a quick comparison. This is what they did. It's very nicely done. It's a very matte finish and everything is perfectly flush. Power of resin, I guess. Using my Prusa Mark III IS Plus, I have this. Just look how good that looks. This is definitely much better than what I have here. I gave this a tolerance of 0.15 millimeters or so. It does not fall apart at all, even if I shake it violently. That is excellent. So very nicely done for the first black pinhole occluder. Black pinhole looks very nice. Next up we have a occluder Dio. These are the set of occluders that I had made with a dioptric measurement in place. So the front part is the same, it's still just a ruler. That finish is excellent. And the back is really cool as well. It's got this weird glow effect. Yep. Where the numbers kind of come out as white, when the main body is still kind of that gray flush marble look. Definitely legible. So this is also a really cool design. On the actual occluder, this is where it really shines, because over here, everything is really nicely legible. And that looks really, really good. These are all accurate measurements for dioptric values. So distances, but measured with diopters. And let's see if the tolerance works on this one. Yep, that is completely fine. And oh boy, that looks really good. So this is what that looks like. For point of reference, I will show what usually I get with a filament printer. So this is with filament, PLA. This is kind of what that looks like. All looks really, really nice. But the marble finish on this one is just so unique. And it looks really, really cool. That looks even a little bit more legible than this one at certain points. Can't really tell specifically because of the lighting, but this one looks like it's made out of stone. So if you're into something that makes it look more like stone, definitely would I recommend this one. This is the one that I printed. So this is PLA, and this is JLC 3DP's resin printing. Okay, we got 2 more. Next up, we have a variation on the black. Really nicely printed text. Always looking really good. This is a different variation of the black we had just now. They look kind of similar, but the bottom one is the new one. This is the one I just took a look at. That's still really, really cool.
And in case you're wondering, it is not a trick of the camera. The PA12 that's dyed is much more oily and glossy looking.
Once again, flush really, really nicely here. And it looks very precise as well. Okay, finally we have one more occluder, and this one is made from 2 Pro. Really nice flush finish here as well. This is made from resin, but to be honest, this one looks almost like it's a filament printer printed piece. So I'll leave that right over here. This is the one that's made out of resin. So this is from resin, and this is one of mine made out of PLA. The rulers are about the same, but let me pull up here. This is my filament one, and around the edges here, you can definitely see that there's a little bit of a cutaway. So it's not perfectly smooth. Does that really matter? Not really, but this one is almost completely circular. There's maybe a very small pattern at the top, but that's it. There's nothing else here. That's kind of cool. Over here I have that is a solid block. Oh wow. Two very solid coasters. Still works with the threads very nicely. How about the main one? Now that is nice. This is really, really heavy and it feels almost kind of like marble, which I think is really cool. This is like a solid block too. I think they might have made this with 100% infill. This is 138 grams. And the one that I made in PLA, around 62 grams. So way heavier with that one and way lighter with the PLA. And it feels just as sturdy as well. Here's the one I made with PLA. And it works fine. It's pretty light too. Really easy twist caps around here because this is just a simple elbow rest. First difference you'll notice right away is that there is a little bit of a lighter color on this, just because at the center point here it's I think 0.15 millimeters or 0.2 millimeters apart. So if it is very, very thin, you can kind of tell the color behind it, but I think that kind of adds to the appeal of it. This is still very solid. It's not going to break or anything. The bottom portion is coned inwards, and I made that specifically even on mine here, because if I print it this way, you need less supports. So this is perfectly smooth all the way around. Very, very nice. And on mine, there's a bit of ridging. Also, there's that one print line there, but like I said, completely mainly for aesthetics. Function-wise, they both work. It's just really cool material, I think. It almost sounds like stones rubbing against each other, which I think is really cool. See, there's also a bit of ridging here. You can kind of tell that it goes from in all the way to out with all these little ridges in mind. And this one, nothing at all. You can hear the ridging if I just run my fingers along it. Nothing. Which I think is cool. This material is way heavier than I thought it would be. Still a really, really nice print overall. JLC 3DP reached out to me on Prusa Printables, asked if I want to showcase some of their printing with some of the designs I had, and I told them I have this 3D printing business on Instagram and if they would be okay with me printing some of those things, and they said sure. And sure enough, here we are with some of the things that I printed with their services. Their service is pretty simple to use. You just go online, and if you are doing anything 3D printing related, all you really do is you would go onto their site and sign up for an account, and after that you can upload your STL files and they will take care of all the rest. You don't need to worry about the supports or the slicing or anything related to that. Choose your material and submit the order through. After a day or so, they would usually accept it or deny it and tell you the reason for it, and then they will give you some options as well as some quotes for how much it's going to cost, including shipping and all that. After that, you can check out with any type of method of payment you like. They also do accept Google Pay, and then they'll ship it to you. Shipping came in pretty quickly. Even though I think they're based out of China, I'm in Canada. Shipping came within a good 4 days, I think. Shipping is heavily dependent on the weight of the objects as well as their size. The entire process was very, very convenient and very, very quick. There are certain restrictions for printing that are limited by size, but generally it's still way bigger than what I have with my 3D printer i3 Mark III's Plus. Limitations aside, I do think it's a really nice service that works pretty quickly and is definitely legit. I chose to try these specific prints because they were made out of resin, and I already have a filament printer, so I wanted to see how resin would turn out and how different materials might change the way that certain designs of mine feel. These prints are excellent. I don't think the quality is really bad on them at all. The resin print themselves makes the lettering look incredible. I can't really find a flaw in the 3D printed products that JLC 3DP sent. The online support team was also very, very quick getting back to you. I'm not sure where their digital center for tech support is located, but I messaged them around 3 p.m. on a regular Wednesday for some of my questions, and although they're based in China, they got back to me really quickly and solved all the issues and all the questions I've had immediately. So a really good support team on that end as well. If in the future you ever want to consider printing or 3D printing anything, Also, you can definitely depend on JLC 3DP to do that for you. One last tidbit to talk about here is I only printed in resin because it was a material I was thinking about for quite a long time, but it is not the only option out there. Online, you can get a variety of different materials. That includes anything from filament, PLA, ABS, PETG, all the way until metal as well. They also do a lot of metal printing, so if you liked what you saw here in terms of the resin prints, I'd say give it a go. Thanks once again to JLC 3DP for sponsoring this video. Their prints are pretty good, would recommend.